Everyone, Shannon here for Hero Arts. In today's video, we are going to create this bold and vibrant encouragement card featuring the premium February My Monthly Hero kit. I'm going to start this card by creating the background. I have an A2 panel of Dove White cardstock, and I'm going to ink blend a gradation over this panel. I'm going to start with Taffy, and I'm going to ink blend the bottom quarter of my panel with really heavy-handedly with this Taffy ink. I'm using Reactive inks today. They're a hybrid ink and they ink blend beautifully. They're kind of creamy and they're just wonderful to blend with. I am, like I said, ink blending pretty heavy-handedly because it's going to create a really rich and dark color, and I think that's going to really add to the overall look of our card, which is pretty much clean and simple. Moving on to my next color here. This is Berry Smoothie. This is a color that's kind of a mix of the purple and pink, and I love it. It's really a pretty color. And I'm ink blending right next to that Taffy and actually over the Taffy a little bit to really encourage a smooth transition. Now we're moving on to Grape Slush, a really pretty purple. I actually first tried this combo without the Grape Slush, and I just didn't get the nicest transition from the Berry Smoothie to the Purple Galaxy, not as smooth and gentle as I'd like it to be, and this Grape Slush really does help that transition, so we end up having this really beautiful gradation when we're all done. Once I finish with the Grape Slush, we're moving on to our final shade, which again is that Purple Galaxy. I'm going to ink blend that top quarter. You notice I turned my paper around for the last two inks. I just find it easier to, because I'm right-handed, to ink blend from the right in. So I basically do the bottom half and then I do the top half, finishing up with that really rich purple, and we have our background blended. Now I'm going to grab the Sun Stencil. This is part of the February Premium Kit, this stencil, and I'm going to place it over our blended panel. The stencil also comes with this circle negative. I'm going to pop that in place because I don't actually want to have any paste in the center. I want that to be clear. I grabbed some tape to kind of hold the stencil in place and hold that center circle mask in place as well. And now I'm going to grab gold hero paste and use my palette knife here to apply that paste all over this stencil. This is going to add not only a shine of gold and kind of break up that blended background a little bit, but it's also going to add some beautiful texture to this card too, because again, this is pretty much a clean and simple card, so all these little details that we add really do step it up to another level, and you really notice them. So once I get that paste applied all over my panel, I'll then remove my stencil and put away my paste. I do like to squirt a little bit of water in my paste before I put it away. I find that really helps to keep the paste moist, and you get more longevity out of your paste that way. And you can see we have this beautiful panel here with that gorgeous gold like bursts. I love it. It's so pretty. I'm going to put that aside to dry. As my panel is drying, I'm going to go ahead and work on my sentiments for this card, which are actually going to be on tags. The classic kit and premium kit have these 4 tag dies, a circle and 2 really long rectangular ones and a shorter rectangular one. I'm just using the rectangular ones here, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut them out of some Dove White cardstock. Once I get them cut out, I'll then set them aside, and then we'll move on to working on creating the sentiments that will go on top of the tags. So there are our 3 tags. I'm going to grab the Piece Fancy die here. This is, there's 2 word dies that are included in the premium kit. I'm going to use the Piece. I went ahead and die cut it out of some more Dove White cardstock. I'm going to die cut it once, and then I'm actually going to die cut it 2 more times. So I have 3 pieces in total. So here I am now working on the other 2. Once I get those kind of popped out, we are going to move on to our second sentiment. Our second sentiment we're actually going to stamp. I have the clear stamp set here that is included in the classic and premium kit. I'm going to grab one of the scripty sentiment stamps. There's several beautiful scripty sentiments in this set. I chose Envision. I thought that worked well with the other my overall message, but also the other sentiments I choose. or will choose. I went ahead and stamped it in embossing and watermark ink onto some white cardstock, dipped it into gold embossing powder, and now I will heat set with my heat tool. I love the way this sentiment looks. It's so scripty and beautiful, nice and linear. I think that's really pretty too. After I heat embossed that sentiment, I'm going to go ahead and die cut it out with the coordinating die. I love that all the sentiments have, or all the scripty sentiments have matching dies for them, which is awesome. So after I popped that out, I'm going to then actually die cut that sentiment, but unstamped. So I'm just going to take the die here and die cut it 2 more times out of the white cardstock. And I'm just going to do that so I have these layers so I can stack them up and also also add dimension to this sentiment as well. You could also use foam adhesive if you want to, but this is a cleaner, because the sentiment is so thin, this is, I think, a better way to do it. It just provides more support and it's easier. And I do think it has a more polished look, actually. So now that I've stacked the sentiments up with, of course, my heat emboss sentiment at the top, I'm going to move over, or go back to, rather, the die cut piece, and I want to heat emboss this as well. So I did press one of the piece die cuts in embossing and watermark ink, dipped it into the gold embossing powder, and then heat set. Now I'm going to do the other half, just kind of working my way over this sentiment so I get it completely covered in gold. Again, dipped it into in gold embossing, and then went ahead and heat set it. And now I'm going to do it one more time because I actually want this to be a little bit thicker, and you have a smoother result if you just double it up, so do 2 layers. So I just repeated that process, did half of the piece a second time, and then heat embossed it, and now I'm doing that other second half. So we have 2 layers of embossing powder on this piece, and it just creates this gorgeous shiny gold, really perfect looking gold die cut. Now I'm going to stack it up on top of my other 2 die cuts. So I'm just going to use my liquid glue, stack up my 2 Dove White pieces, and then I'll finish it off with that gold heat embossed piece. So we have this beautiful dimensional sentiment. Now we're going to move on to our final sentiment, which we're actually going to stamp on to our tag. I love this stamp set because there's so many sentiments. And they're all a little bit different. So you have right now we're going to be doing very linear sentiments, but we're going to stamp them in a row, and it's going to create this really almost like a decoration that we're adding to the tag in addition to our sentiment. And so and you've already seen the piece die cut, which was nice, a different texture with the die cut, and then we had stamped that scripty one. So some great variety of sentiments here, and they do all work together because they're still very classic and clean and simple. So after I stamped several of my sentiments onto that tag, I did dip it into some gold embossing powder and heat set, and now we're basically ready to put this card together. My panel is all dry, that gold paste is dry, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere it onto an A2 top folding Dove White card base, but turned on its side. And then we're going to grab our tags here and start to adhere those sentiments on. For that smaller rectangular tag, I'm going to adhere the die cut piece onto that. Again, adding some liquid glue to the backside and sticking that down. That has great dimension there. It looks so good on the tag. Then we'll move on to one of our longer tags, the one that we didn't stamp on. I actually need to trim it down. It's a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim off a little bit less than an inch, maybe like 3/4 of an inch off. And then we're going to add some liquid glue to the backside of our scripty sentiment, and then of course adhere that down onto our tag. And that looks beautiful on the tag. I really like how it fills the space nicely on that tag. And that'll actually complete our tags are all done. So now we're ready to kind of put them onto the card actually. I'm just going to first quickly arrange my tags in the order that I want them to be on this card. I actually intend for you to kind of read them in this manner. So you start with envision, peace, unity, empathy, healing. And then after I've got my tags loose, kind of quickly arranged, I'm going to grab some of these die cuts from the ephemera pack that's included in the premium kit. Once I get them arranged, the flower and feather as well as the tags kind of all arranged in the way that I want them to be, then I'll grab a piece of press and seal, press it over all of my die cuts and my tags to pick them up. Then I'll flip them over, and then I'll start to add some foam adhesive to the back side and to hold everything in place, and then of course also to add some dimension. Then I'll remove the backing on my foam adhesive, and once I get all the backing removed, we'll be ready to stick this down onto our card front. And we are almost done here. Once we get those stuck down, we do have one final thing we're going to do. I'm going to grab some gold hero pearls and just squeeze out a couple pearls or a couple accents between the words on that bottom tag. I think it just kind of brings it all together and does add even more gold and shine. And now I'll pick up the card so you can see the finished result. I really love how this card looks. I love that flower and feather. I think that adds a nice touch. And the contrast between our white tags with the gold and that beautiful bold ombre background is just lovely. Hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. If any questions about the products I use, please check out the links below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.